What is up? My name is John and I am an engineer here at Decodable. I'm going to show you today a quick pipeline that we made to move data, transform data, CDC data out of a MySQL database and dropping it into Clickhouse hosted by Gigapipe. So we'll start, we're looking at our connections here on our main decodable page for our account. You'll see we have a MySQL CDC source. This is where we will be pulling the data. So I will start there. The connector is set up to talk to a MySQL database at this address, this port, database name, table name, and then our login info. We set up the schema to be it's user-generated data. It's just a bunch of garbage. But we're going to pretend that this is a real user ID. It is our primary key for this CDC change stream. We have a timestamp coming out, an email, and then an SSN that is not real, but we will treat it as a real SSN. So that's flowing out of our MySQL table. That's going into a stream. The stream has the same fields. This is just the landing spot for that MySQL data to land in. You'll see here we have a little data preview. We can see the sample of it, user ID, and then all the other fields that are keyed off of that ID. Operating on that stream is this pipeline. The pipeline takes SQL and it allows you to transform the data, project fields, do kind of whatever you want to it to plop it out into another stream downstream of that. In this case, we are selecting from that stream we were just looking at. We are projecting the user ID, the time, the email, and then we are, just for demonstration purposes, we're splitting the email to get the email domain. And we are doing a hash of the social security number to get something that is a little bit less sensitive on the next stream. So we can go ahead and run preview on that to see how that comes out. And this will take the SQL that's here and you can kind of play around with it and just see what that would look like if you were to create this pipeline. So we can see here data is coming out. Great. So we created that pipeline, and that is flowing into this downstream stream, previewing that data. We've got, again, our user ID. We've got the email domain you can see that we are extracting, as well as the social security hash. And finally, this data is getting sunk into Clickhouse via this connector that we built. This is configured similarly to our MySQL connector. There is a URL, cluster, database, table, and then auth. The schema matches the stream that we were just looking at. We've got our user ID, which is our primary key, the time, email domain that we derived, and the hash of the social security that we also derived. This particular ClickHouse instance is being hosted by Gigapipe. It is a 3-shard cluster with 1 replica on each shard. And if I go over here to the ClickHouse console, this is some of the boilerplate I used to set up the ClickHouse tables, I guess. I created the table with those same types. You'll see here time is actually a date time, whereas before we had a timestamp. So one of those easy things to do with Decodable is to also translate your data into different types. And we created a virtual distributed table on top of this table that's created on all of our nodes. And then I'm just going to go ahead and read from that distributed table, which is going to pull from all our nodes, and I'm ordering by most recent timestamp. So you'll see all of our data shows up. We've got user ID, time, email, domain, and hash. The time is going to keep updating because we have real data coming in real time. And since it's ClickHouse, we can perform some analytics real quick on it. There's not a ton of data in this right now, but we can do counts, we can do aggregations. If I wanted to group by the email domain, we can get the counts for each of those. And that's all there is to it. You can set up this pipeline in probably no more than 5 or 10 minutes, and that gets you data streaming in from MySQL CDC all the way to Clickhouse. If you're looking to use Decodable for this purpose or anything similar to that, please check us out. Have a good day.